Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Arts Commission meeting of this rainy Thursday, March 6, 2025. I now call the meeting in order at 6 p.m. We will begin the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Lucia, would you mind leading?
Please stand and put your right hand over your heart. Ready?
Thank you. The next order of business is roll call. Ms. Fatua?
Let the record reflect all commissioners are present except for Commissioner Mann, Commissioner Wondercheck, and Commissioner Ford.
Okay, the next order of business is Newport Mesa Unified School District Arts Report by Ms. Tamara Fairbanks.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh, now I am live now. Yes. Thank you so much for having me tonight so I can brag about some of the wonderful things that is happening in our school district at Newport Mesa. Now, this year we actually started Prop 28, and I wonder, let's see, I'm hoping this video will show. And so this video is showing just a little snippet of some of the things that have happened in our cities of Costa Mesa and Newport Beach. And these are our outstanding educators, Kelly Marchbank and Vanessa Valdez. So that's just a brief snippet of some of the newest things that have been happening in Newport Mesa. So we have our upcoming showcases are in the Norma Herzog Community Center. And thank you, Lorette, for helping us out with this. Is for our Senior Arts Showcase is April 24th, and it will be exhibited throughout that entire week, the 24th to May 2nd, as well as our at OCC in the Doyle Pavilion is our District Arts Showcase. And this year, because we're going to actually exhibit our some samples from our elementary art teachers that just began as a as our first year throughout doing everything for Prop 28. And we have 2 elementary art teachers that go between 3 to 4 different schools. So William Cho is teaching at Davis, East Bluff, and Ray, and Betsy Morcos is teaching at Lincoln, Paularino, Sonora, and Wilson. And so they have been doing ceramics, they've been doing acrylic painting, they have been doing just a variety of different types of art. So there's a lot of, and they've been teaching TK through 6. So it's great to see all of these teachers really infusing their arts in everything that they do on a daily basis. For dance, we've been growing in our dance partnerships. One of our partnerships was with Backhouse Dance, and who actually received a grant through this, with our partnership through the city of Costa Mesa, and gave an incredible dance assembly for all of our high school dance teachers and students, as well as Estancia's Color Guard and several chosen students from there, so we can infuse dance into that school site. So we're trying to infuse the world of dance into all of our sites at the secondary level. And then, of course, we have a lot of other district partnerships with a lot of community groups, Orange Coast College, Contempo Ballet, who have all been providing assemblies for all of our students, TK through 6 and TK through 12. And then we have one elementary dance teacher, who's been traveling to 4 different schools. On that video you saw at Kaiser Elementary School, I never seen so many 6th grade boys dance. I accidentally ended up in a mosh pit, and it was quite dangerous, but it was the joy that these kids had dancing. And it was so much fun. They were so excited, and they learned so much as a result of it. And so those are the experiences that we've been cherishing throughout this entire this entire moment, is just having each of those, having each of the arts represented. And I did skip a slide. Let's see if I can find it, or maybe I cannot find it, one or the other. That's okay. But we also had our elementary theater. We acquired 3 really experienced elementary theater teachers, and they have been teaching TK through 6, but they've been doing performances, parent performances, TK through 2 at each of the different school sites, and just seeing those kids learn how to use their voice. And so they've been using their voice, learning what is a story, what is the body of a story, what is a character, what does that mean to be the main character. And so all of those literary elements that they're not only learning in English language arts, but they're also learning it in theater, and actually putting a practical, physical embodiment to what they're learning in English language arts has been extremely real and extremely satisfying. And so every parent that I've spoken to about our elementary Prop 28 staff and experiences have been raving about it. And it's something that's been really needed, especially since COVID, just having that sense of community and that sense of joy. And that's been the running theme, joy, from all of our various school sites. One of the new things that has occurred, we changed the name to Costa Mesa High School's Performing Arts Center to the Gilbo Linfors Performing Arts Center, named after 2 excellent retired music educators hailing from Costa Mesa High School. Between both of them is 80 years of music education between the both of them. So it was an extremely well-deserved honor to name the theater after them, these two educators. And join us. Join us. We have so much going on in our district right now. So we started musical tours for each of our different zones. So all of the high school all of the high school music programs are going to each of the elementary schools for a day. And they're actually doing musical performances. So this past Friday was Corona del Mar zone, but on March 20th, we have the Estancia zone. So we'll be attending all of our Estancia schools during that time period. March 21st is our Costa Mesa zone. So definitely, and I am happy to send you the entire itinerary so you guys can actually come and visit. When we'll have the choir, we'll have the drum line, we'll have jazz band performing. So it's going to be a really wonderful experience. And then we finalize that musical tour with the Newport Harbor Zone on March 28th. And then, of course, we have a plethora of different events. Next Friday night, we have our Vanguard Solo and Ensemble Festival, which ends in a culminating performance. The kids come out from 5th grade to 12th grade. They're adjudicated by judges. They get feedback, concrete feedback on their performance skills, and those who rank the top have a performance at the end of the night. And so I welcome all of you to those performances, as well as our art shows, which are going to be wonderful and incredible. And now we actually have more for our district art showcase to showcase because of all of the wonderful things that are happening in our visual art program. And thank you for having me. I'm happy to give you any dates that you need to just show up at any of our performances and showcases.
Thank you, Ms. Fairbanks. It's so great to get a full report on all the wonderful things that are going in Newport Mesa, and I'm looking forward to the senior showcase and the arts exhibition. And does anyone else have comments?
Chair. Thank you, Tamara. Just one quick question.
Yes.
Is this the first year that the senior art show will be in one location for an entire week?
Actually, we began last year is when we started doing the Norma Herzog.
Yes, so that was...
And so that was the first year. This is the second year.
Wonderful.
But every year gets better. Every year we level it up and we actually make it more and more special for our students.
It's really great to have the school district sharing that facility for a full week. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Fairbanks.
Thank
It's
you.
so wonderful to hear about the tour, and I think it's so great for the older students to visit these elementary school sites so that the students see what's possible in the arts. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Next order of business, we are going to open for a public comment. Ms. Fatua?
Each member of the public will be given a total of 3 minutes to speak. First, we'll take comments in person in the council chambers, then on Zoom. You may begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Jim Fitzpatrick. I'm the guy whose email you guys ignored. I love Mrs. Fairbanks. She's awesome. She taught my kid the love of music. Mrs. Fairbanks is a doer. My kid came to Snoopy House and banged on the big bass drum. Before that, she said, Daddy, Daddy, Snoopy House is going away. You got to save Snoopy House. My kid's a doer. So I picked up the phone. I called former city manager Hatch and the council members. We saved Snoopy House. See, I'm a doer, and I really question if the commissioners here are doers. And commissioners are different than committee members. This is a final authority. This is a decision-making body. And I came here a year ago to talk to you about the email that you guys ignored about $400,000 in cannabis tax that's just sitting in a bank account, okay? I took time out of my busy day. I reviewed the last year of agenda. It hasn't been on a single agenda. I reviewed each and every single one of the arts specialist report. We have a full-time body dedicated to this. Not once in the last year was $400,000 of cannabis tax discussed. Not once. We can't even barely get a quorum here. So now applications are open for committees and commissions, and I am begging the City Council to reconstitute this by putting doers on our committees and commissions. We are the city of the arts. I look at your agenda, right? New business, reviewing fiscal grants. One's like $1,000, and the other one's like $3,000. You have access to $400,000, and you're not acting upon it. I don't know, is this like bunco night, and this is really cool, and I get to put it on my resume? Why aren't you guys acting on this? Why aren't you looking at staff? And I'm gonna sit out there through every one of your comments. And if I don't hear you say, hey, why does this guy have to take time out of his busy day? We are commissioners. Why aren't we asking the hard questions? Why aren't we looking at staff and saying, you got till the next meeting to get this on the agenda and figure out what we're doing? I had to put in a public records request because staff refuses through really bad customer service to communicate. The state of California says when I put in a public records request, they don't have an option, they have to respond to me. I said, hey, when has this been discussed? How much of these funds have been allocated? Show me in the budget where it's actually accumulated and how much. I got a 383-page budget say, please look on page 46. That's it. That's what I got. Right? I'm gonna sit there. And then, honestly, this isn't a threat. This is just a promise. We need people in our community that are doers. They're going to actually get stuff done. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. We need to do better.
Hello, my name is Angel Correa, and I'm a current board. First of all, thank you. Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to be here. I'm a current board member at the Costa Mesa Playhouse. I'm joined by other board members here. We have our artistic director, Peter Crater. Say hi.
Hello.
We have our managing director, Mia Josomovic. Close enough. Close enough. Thank you so much. And we're just here to reintroduce ourselves. I was here last year. The Playhouse was part of the Art Crawl event that was led by Laurette, and it was a lot of fun being part of that with the city. We wanted to let you know that this year, after the summer, will be our 60th season. We are opening our 60th season. The Playhouse has been in existence since 1965. The first show opened on June 24th, 1965 at the Old Army Air Base. That was by the OC Fairgrounds. The Playhouse was part of the City of Costa Mesa Leisure Services Department at that time. And since its inception, the Playhouse has produced over 233, coming up on 235 shows once the season is over. It's been around for many generations, and we would love for it to continue even when we are no longer there. So we would love an opportunity down the road to actually have maybe a meeting with the commission and the board, just so that you guys can see the space, get to know who we are, what we do, what we can do, and how we can maybe coordinate either events or other things with the city. As part of the City of Costa Mesa Leisure Service Department, the city actually back in 1984 helped the Playhouse relocate to where we currently are situated. We are located next to Rhea Elementary. The Playhouse is currently part of the Newport Mesa Unified School District, actually, which we love and appreciate, and we thank you every day, every season. Thank you. But we would like the city to be, reconnect with you guys a little bit more so that you guys know who we are. I think 60 seasons speak for themselves. We are an award-winning theater, solely relying on box office sales and occasional donations from generous patrons. So we just want to say hi once again. Welcome to the 60th season. And yours truly, as well as Peter Crater here, will be performing in our upcoming production of Anton Chekhov's Uncle Vanya, which will open up later this month. We would love to also have you there. If you would like some comp tickets, just let us know. So we just wanted to say hi and let you know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate your public comments. Are there any comments from anyone on Zoom, Ms. Fatua, or anyone present?
There are currently no Zoom members, and any correspondence received for tonight's meeting is also available on the city website.
Thank you. And it is my understanding that we are not permitted to respond to public comment. Is that correct?
Chair, at this time, you could go ahead and do your public comments. If you wish to respond, you're welcome to. But during your commission comments, that's your good time to do that.
There's just no dialogue as well.
Correct, no dialogue.
Thank you for clarifying. Okay, commissioners, if you have any questions for staff or comments not pertaining to agenda items, please add your name to the queue, or we're so intimate today, we can just chime in.
Sure, I'll start. Thank you, Chair. Just a couple comments. First of all, I wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of the new and exciting extension to Moon Goat Coffee. Across the parking lot, it's called 1973 Events. And so it's an event center, and currently, just so happens that my next door neighbor, who is an artist, Jeff Miller, his work is now on display. And what he is doing, because it's his passion and not his career, 70% of all proceeds on his artwork are going directly to the Costa Mesa Foundation, and 30% of all proceeds will be going to the staff at Moon Goat. So if you get a chance, please visit Moon Goat Coffee House and see their new event. Also, a question for staff. Someone informed me that the Coastal Corridor Alliance announced Arts in the Park beginning the third Saturday of March, running through October, and it's a transformation of trash to art with the Coastal Corridor Alliance. And I don't know if you know anything about that, but it looks rather intriguing. To go out, you'll go out and help at Fairview Park, pick up some trash, and also make some art. So those are my comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Ashendorf. Anyone else?
I just want to say thank you to Mr. Fitzpatrick for coming back, taking the time to be persistent in this issue. I'd like to connect with you offline, and we'll follow you up by email to see the materials that you've looked into, and then as well to pursue this issue at the city level. I really appreciate the dedication to this, and to figure out what exactly is available to us and what we can do about it. I think that is an important issue. Otherwise, I have no other comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dadarian. I think these are great to have public be here and to make their comments and to be heard. And I think it's great that you're looking into that, especially as we move into drafting or possibly amending the master plan down the line. I'm truly honored to be elected as chair, so thank you for your trust and support. A heartfelt thanks to Commissioner Wondercheck, who isn't present, but I appreciate her leading our meetings this past year with such grace and humor. And I'm also grateful to have Vice Chair Dadarian by my side, my constant along this dais. And I imagine we'll just take some time to adjust to these new roles and appreciate the support of staff. I'm grateful for Ms. Fairbanks for presenting all the wonderful things that are going on at Newport Mesa. I was honored to visit the students there last week at Costa Mesa High and just share with them a little bit of the work that we're doing in the Arts Commission. also talk a little bit about my own creative practice. It was a pleasure to meet with them individually, and the whole classroom was a vibe. So I'm looking forward to seeing more work by students and featured in Art Venture now that we have an early entry for those students. And that is all. Okay, the next order of business is consent calendar. The consent calendar, all matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be acted upon in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the Arts Commission staff or the public request specific items to be discussed and/or removed from the consent calendar for discussion. We have one item under consent calendar, approval of the minutes for February 6, 2024 Arts Commission meeting. Are there any comments from the commissioners, from the commission or the commissioner who would like to enter a motion?
Okay, I had requested one correction to the minutes relative to my making a motion and my seconding a motion. And I think that was going to be corrected by Ms. Fatua.
Yes.
Okay, and with that correction, then I would move to adopt the minutes.
Okay. So then I will,
Do we have a second?
yes.
Everyone may vote on their dais. Motion carries 4-0, and let the record reflect no public comment was made, as there's no one in-house as well as on Zoom.
Okay, and the next order of business is old business approval of utility arts box program.
Chair, our next order will be the monthly report, art specialist report.
Thank you, Ms. Fatua. The next order of business is monthly reports, arts and culture staff report by Ms. Gardner.
Thank you, Chair Ochoa, and good evening to the Costa Mesa Arts Commission. This is my art specialist report for March 6th, 2025. We're back again to the art crawl, so we have a confirmed date for May 24th, 2025. We have 3 confirmed stops. The first is the 17th Street Recording Studio, the Wayfarer, and the Segerstrom Center for the Arts to attend a Pacific Chorale and Pacific Symphony production. A print flyer will be created and distributed by the end of the month, and we'll also be sending out email blasts to some targeted groups to reach different audiences as we work on our expanded outreach efforts for this program, as it's still fairly new, even though this will be our 4th art crawl experience. So a little bit of update on that. Arts grants, we currently have 9 applications for the arts grant program. The application closes on Monday, and I will be sending out some emails to some potential review panelists, including the Arts Commission, sometime early next week. And Art Venture, the youth art application is now live on the website. The deadline we have 1 application, so very exciting. So the deadline for youth artists to apply is May 5th, 2025. And also for reference, the adult application will open on June 2nd, and close on July 14th. And the juried art exhibition guide has been updated and is now on the website as well. So artists can take a look and get ready for the application process. The Poet Laureate program. So we have confirmation that Chair Ochoa and Vice Chair Derderian will be presenting alongside myself at the April 1st City Council meeting to introduce Danielle Hansen, our new Poet Laureate. We hope and we encourage you all to attend that meeting. It should be a good one. And it's our first Poet Laureate, so it's very exciting. And a little bit of update on public art. For public art, I'm beginning a process to create a master list of mural artists, specifically for any upcoming publicly funded projects. My goal for this is to have a current list of 25 to 40 artists that stays current for 3 years and is selected and approved by a review panel, which will include arts commissioners and community constituents, and then presented to the Arts Commission for approval. So when funds become available, artists will be selected from the list to create proposals for specific projects and then reviewed in the same way as the mural roster. So just wanted to give a little update. We're kind of working on that application process. And lastly, I wanted to just, as I did last month, acknowledge that March is Women's History Month. The theme is moving forward together, women educating and inspiring generations. So I think that's a good thing to note. A little bit of history, and I get this from history.com. I do not come up with this myself. The actual celebration of Women's History Month grew out of a week-long celebration of women's contribution to culture, history, and society organized by the school district of Sonoma, California in 1978. Thought that was kind of interesting. A few years later, the idea caught on within communities, school districts, and organizations across the country. In 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued the first presidential proclamation declaring the week of March 8th as National Women's History Week. The U.S. Congress followed suit the next year, passing a resolution establishing a national celebration. 6 years later, the National Women's History Project successfully petitioned Congress to expand the event to an entire month of March. And just a couple notable American women artists for me, Mary Cassatt, who's a painter. She died in 1926. She was born in Pennsylvania and was the only non-European associated with the original Impressionists, which I thought was an interesting fact. Ruth Asawa, she's a sculptor. She died in 2013. As a teen, she was placed in a Japanese internment camp and while there studied with professional artists, including Tom Okamoto, an animator for Walt Disney. Alice Walker was a novelist, writer, and poet born in 1944. She became the first African-American woman to win a Pulitzer Prize for fiction in 1982. And Kelsey Kirkland is a ballet dancer who's born in 1952. She studied at the School of American Ballet and danced for New York City Ballet and American Ballet Theater. And I mention her because I used to dance growing up, and I used to watch the televised version of the Nutcracker with her and Mikhail Baryshnikov. It was one of my favorite things to watch on repeat. So just mentioning her for that reason. And yes, and of course, there's so many more. But I just wanted to acknowledge Women's History Month this month. And thank you. That's my art specialist report.
Thank you, Ms. Gardner. I'm just thrilled to see that the youth applications are live, and I hope it encourages more applicants. It's such a joy to see some of these youth artists, and I want to see more of it. So thank you for your work on that. And it's also wonderful to see that there's an increase of interest in these grant applications. So that's awesome. Okay, next order of business is old business, approval of utility box arts program application. Ms. Gardner?
Thank you, Chair Ochoa. So utility box art program, a little refresh. Tonight, we are bringing forward the 3 alternate designs to vote and choose one to replace the previous design by Craig Barker. I did reach out to the artist to ask for a redesign based on the conversation from the February Arts Commission meeting. The artist declined to redesign the artwork originally submitted. He stated that the legs portion was a central theme for all his artwork and said he would try again next year. So just a little bit about that. So for this round, let me pull up those images for you. Sorry about that. Would you like me to pull up those designs? Take a look, or do you have them in your? Okay. Let's see. So my suggestion for this would be, since we only have 3 designs, we could conduct a vote on each alternate design. Or have a discussion first and find a consensus. I'll kind of leave that to all of you to decide how you'd like to do that.
I will defer to Commissioner Lucia since she was part of the original selection committee.
I appreciate that. As far as the 3 alternates, the original committee, we found great things about each one. Let me go through a couple of key points and highlights. The first one being Golden Horizon. This was well liked by the committee. The artist is a Costa Mesa resident, and he's been doing graphic design since high school. He was self-taught at the time. This seems like it really embodies Southern California. Has the golden poppy, which is the state flower, as well. Number 2 by artist Kimberly Duran, artwork name Costa Bloom. There were some other designs that we've already previously approved that are similar to this sort of flower design, so that was one consideration that the committee had, although we did enjoy that it was light, bright, vibrant colors that would really pop throughout the city streets. And then the last one by Kingsley Aarons, artwork name Rocket Queen. This one was very dynamic, which the committee did enjoy. The committee also felt like it could be a little bit busy, or maybe in the medium of the utility box, it could be hard to decipher, just given that there's a lot of details to it. So that was one consideration we had. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you for your comments, Commissioner Lucia. Anyone else?
Yes, as far as when you looked at the 3 that we're reviewing now, as far as the wrap, it would seem to me that the first one is going to wrap really nicely. I mean, you've got the poppies in one section. I'm not quite sure how that's going to translate anyway with the flower.
Right. I felt the same way that you
Okay.
do about design 1 in particular, given the orientation of the multiple sides and angles, that there
Right.
would be something different on each side to see.
Exactly. And while I'm personally intrigued by the last one, I'm afraid that might cause an accident. I mean, it's really dynamic, but that's, my bias is leaning towards the first one.
Just to jump in here, I don't think I have anything unique to add because I completely agree with what's been said thus far. I think just for the record, shall we say, all 3 have their aesthetic merits and are well done. I mean, honestly, but sharing similar concerns already stated with Design 3 by Kingsley Aarons, it is very busy and jarring to some extent. And while that, again, like with our previous submission, would do well in a museum or in a place for consideration to a deeper extent, I fear it would be one of those things where it would kind of catch a driver off guard. I know if I was driving down Harbor or wherever this is going to be, kind of do a double take and be distracted. Whereas something, I would personally advocate as well for Golden Horizon, number 1. I think that's the sort of thing that you'd see in a city and say, well, it's beautiful. It's really nice, and kind of add to the streetscape as you're experiencing it. So I'm in favor of that. And it seems that we have somewhat of a consensus. I don't know about you, Chair Ochoa, if you have any thoughts that you'd like to share, but perhaps we might consider just a motion to adopt the first one, if you would agree.
Yes, I think Commissioner Mann and Commissioner Lucia did an excellent work by making these selections, and I would have to agree. Let's make a motion for selection 1.
Before we do, I just need to offer, since we do have a Zoom
That's
attendee
right.
now.
Thank you.
If there's any public members who wish to speak, who are on Zoom, please raise your hand. There are no hands raised, Chair. We may make a motion.
Okay, I will make a motion. We will make a motion to select the alternate 1, Golden Poppies.
I'd be happy to make that motion.
Give me one moment.
Thank you. I thought it was my error here.
All right. If you guys can try again for the motion. Wonderful. We have a motion by Commissioner Ashendorf, All right, you may vote on your dais. Motion carries to approve for artist number 1, Evan Chafee, for the box art.
Madam Chair, may I just make one more comment? I would just like to thank you, Ms. Garner, for reaching out. I appreciated seeing that the previous artist did underscore his declination, but that he was heard and had an opportunity to come back to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ashendorf. Next order of business is new business review of fiscal years 2022 to 23 and 23 to 24 Arts Grant Program final reports.
Thank you, Chair Ochoa. So the review of the Arts Grant Program and these final reports, when artists and organizations apply to this program, this is part of one of the requirements that they have to complete in order to justify funding for the program. So for this review and file report, I'm bringing the last 2 years forward to the Arts Commission, but moving forward, I will do this annually. You know, when we bring the new grants, we'll also do a final report out for the last one. This one, I just put them together because we were waiting on a couple final reports that I just wanted to put them all together. So moving forward, there'll be a more consistent kind of annual calendar for these, which is why this one's a little heavy, lots of pages, because it's 2 years. So with these, there's a final report in there, and then there's also a budget if they supplied it, and then I have some images that I can scroll through on the PowerPoint as well. But I thought since this is a review and final, I thought either we could have a discussion, suggestions, or any edits or any questions you have about these grants. We can kind of go through, and I can kind of just go through the photos as well as we do that.
I have a question. I was wondering if artists in the future, artists or arts organizations that receive a grant, if they may be ineligible to reapply the following year, just to give more opportunities to other organizations and also kind of just create a little bit of a balance. I noticed that Pacific Chorale, while I'm a huge fan, they have received 2 consecutive grants, and they're also featured in our upcoming art crawl. Just to kind of, I guess, give a more balanced distribution of support, especially as our grants program expands and gains popularity.
Thank you, Chair Ochoa. So we have currently the Arts Grant guidelines that I brought to Arts Commission doesn't stipulate that, but if there's something, if you would like to bring that back to relook at, we can do that before changing those things. But is that something, I guess that's a good question, is that something you'd all like for that to be brought back, like the guidebook for the program?
I would. I think it's a good idea for us to, just as, you know, since we're a new body and as we're kind of growing into these, you know, programs that we're implementing, it's good to kind of review.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, we can do that. I'll bring that back next month. I think could be fine to do that. And then the only thing I will say about that is that it won't include this current year just because it wasn't on the website, but we can definitely look at that again. And if it's something we want to do every year, that's what it's there for, is to be edited and changed as needed. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I have a comment.
Commissioner Ashendorf?
Yes. I appreciate the reports. I see you put a lot of work into this, Ms. Garner. Thank you. What's especially important, since we don't always have the opportunity to visit all of these recipients, and we don't always hear back from everyone coming back to speak to us. To see their evaluations and their testimonials is really very helpful to help. And I think it'll be very important as we look forward to making decisions for future grants to take this kind of information, because there's a lot of reflection that goes into these reports. So I really have learned a lot about our grantees just by reading these. So thank you very much.
Vice Chair, did you have any comments?
Ms. Garner, I mean, did you receive any feedback from the grantees just on the, I don't know, the rollout, shall we say, of the grants, or any other comments, kind of at large or in conversation that would have otherwise not been recorded here?
I don't think so. I can't recall anything specific. Do you mean just like the process itself, or?
Yeah, just anything. I was just curious if as you were going through this, any comments came through from them personally, or I guess as you'd kind of amalgamate.
No, not really. I mean, I think the one thing that they do like is that they have a full year to spend the money instead of it, because sometimes it takes a while to roll out, funding for things, but so that way it kind of gives them more time. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I haven't heard too much other than what they put in their final reports. Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious. Thank you. I
Yeah,
don't have any other comments.
of course.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion to receive and file, or
Is there, or do we need to check with Zoom? If there's public comment?
There are no hands raised.
Okay, shall we make a motion?
yes, motion to receive and file?
I'll second the motion.
You may vote on your dais. Motion carries 4-0 to receive and file.
Okay, are there any additional comments by commissioner or staff? One quick comment. Commissioner Ashendorf last meeting mentioned this event, but I'd like to take a moment to kind of amplify it, since it's a great way to kick off Women's History Month. Alicia Rojas is doing an artist talk at Costa Mesa Historical Society, happening this Sunday at 2 p.m., and I encourage you to attend. Mr. Gruner?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I do just want to congratulate the chair and vice chair to your positions. Looking forward to it. I think you guys are going to do a great job. So thank you for that. Also want to obviously recognize Women's Month. Such a notable, females, whether it's artists or just women in general. So just really recognizing their contribution to society is so overly important. And I'm just thankful that we are recognizing it, and I know the city here in Costa Mesa is doing a great job making sure acknowledging, Women's Month of March. So just want to make sure that's recognized, and appreciate all the work that we have put into that. In regards to Mr. Fitzpatrick, I will follow up with him and clarify. I think there's a little bit of confusion in regards to what the $400,000 is. So I will certainly follow back up with him. I did send him an email letting him know that we did receive it and it was passed on to the commission. But I do want to reach out and address any concerns that he may have or any questions that he has. So I do want to make that clear. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gruner. And checking over the script, shall we adjourn at 6:45 p.m.? I will now adjourn the meeting to our regular scheduled meeting, April 3rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. Do I do this?